An extraterrestrial force has invaded. After a lengthy battle, more ships, similar but different, show up, revealing it wasn't the species military that invading Earth, but a criminal/terrorist organization instead. Felix awoke to the now familiar pain, the collar around his neck buzzing to life. Its sharp prongs scraped his skin, delivering a short, powerful shock to make him wake. Pained groans and moans around him revealed others to be treated the same, a group of people trapped like him. The smell of unwashed bodies was constant, though his brain filtered it out. They hadn't had the chance to bathe since the moment they arrived, collared and forced to work. Cruel masters made them wear hard masks, covering their mouth and nose. A couple of brave people had pried them off, in defiance of their captors. The gasps and choking that followed were seared into his mind, as they had struggled to find the discarded equipment. Even more so was the stench of decay that followed, their corpses left to rot for weeks as a reminder. Lights overhead beamed into life. The unfamiliar voices spoke over hidden speakers, garbled in a language he couldn't begin to comprehend. Unlike before, where it made the same noises, this time was different. It was faster, even more impossible to understand. Moments later, the entire room shook. Those who had stood were thrown to the ground, the echoes of a distant explosion reaching them. Gasps and grunts replied, with questions on what was happening on everyone's lips. More explosions followed, some shaking the room in turn. Felix looked around, listening intently. Pulsing laser fire could barely be heard, a sound he had heard during his short time around the initial invasion. But this was in far greater numbers, muffled alien cries underneath each one. The sounds grew louder and louder. All of a sudden the doors hissed open, the familiar shape of one of the guards appearing. It resembled a spider, balanced on its rear 4 legs, with 4 more used as arms. It was taller than the average human, with 3 black eyes on his head. Its mouth glistened with saliva, small pointed teeth filling it. Yet this was now different. The black suit it wore was torn, blue blood leaking from gashes. One of its arms was missing, seared stump ending that limb. In one hand it held a small device, one that beeped as its arm surged back. The pulse of laser fire came with a bright yellow light. The alien slumped, head now sporting a deep, seared crater. The beeping device fell quiet, the guard holding it in its final grip. Another one came into view, 2 oddly-looking rifles in its grip. This one wore a silver suit, sporting straps of what looked like batteries. Its eyes widened, fumbling in a pocket. Felix watched as it retrieved small block, its 3-clawed hand rapidly tapping it. Moments later a recognizable voice came out. It was human, and calm. To those who hear this, please remain calm. The aliens that attacked, the Erit, are not all our enemies. The ones that are our slavers, criminals of the worst kind. The Erit military are here to help, and will repatriate you back to Earth. This alien followed in its own voice, barely understandable through its mincing of words. Stay safe here. I escort when clear. I guard until then. Other Erit soon appeared, each one stealing glances at the group of captured humans. In efficient movements they cleared the dead guard, handing the device it held with extreme care. One garbled in an authoritative tone, gesturing around. The silver uniform spiders continued on, leaving a couple behind, including the one that spoke. They looked back and forth, still watching the human assortment with what Felix hoped was fascination. One gestured to him, being